I'm gonna mute us. So. Welcome, Cowboy Nation. Welcome to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and welcome to Close to the New Year's, but still the same thing as this past year, the Cowboys winning, and of course, like this past year, my co-host, GameTime Bryan. Bryan, what's up, man?
Primetime Phil, what is going on, people? We got to win. Ugly win. We got to win. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's like
How's
when you
everybody
when you
doing?
look at the bigger picture, the win is what matters. It puts us still like 12 win season, makes you feel good about the season. Kind of forget about the
Yeah.
early stages of the injuries, and I mean we're still dealing with a lot of injuries as we sneak up to that playoff, right?
Well,
Uh,
it could be worse. Tyler Biotis are saying they don't think. They don't think. And if anybody knows, I was just looking up to see if they had anything latest. Brian brought us saying that high ankle sprain, but they don't know the severity of it. Hopefully, it's not too bad because we all know high ankle sprains. You're out a month,
yeah.
3 weeks. So we'll see.
Well, from what I heard in
The
the
old 22,
yeah.
McGovern didn't do bad.
Yeah, well, when I heard people talking about the whole the ankle injury, I guess he took the boot off during the locker room as well, and he was walking around without the boot. He put the boot back on.
It was
so
one of those that looked horrible.
yeah, yeah, it definitely. I mean, got rolled up on, but yeah, I mean, before we go on and talk about this Cowboys game, let's jump to the chat because we've had a really good chat going on already. Of course, one of the first people to come in is obviously. Is Brooklyn Joe, but actually one of the first ones in here was an Eagles fan.
Joe, what up, man?
How did you say that? Twista Zigga?
Oh,
Twista Jigga? You said it. You smacked it out of the park whenever you first said it.
what's the digger? Yeah, yeah. Don't confuse it. I love we. What up?
But yeah,
What up?
Mike Aldana is obviously in the house. We have Jeff Lee. I saw was here. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to
Yeah, you
leave
got
anybody
Jeff
out. We
Lee,
got
Twist the
going-
digger. You got Mike Aldana.
Yeah, of course I
So
love.
we're gonna
Lee,
roll,
man.
and
But yeah. So as
I
we
love
talk
Lee's in the
about
house, Brooklyn Joe.
as we talk about this Cowboys victory, I mean, we got to see the whole picture as well. We're going to complain about little things here and there, situational stuff. But in the bigger picture, what is the big idea? We want a victory. We want, just people making plays. And, yes, we understand
Yeah,
that we have a lot of injuries, the next man up. And guess what? The victory says that the next man up did their job. So in the grand scheme of things, we are very, very happy. So now let's continue on with the complaining. One of the first things they're going to say in the beginning
I'm
part.
not going to complain.
Yeah,
I was happy.
We'll see. It's still early.
I was happy with the win. Listen, man, it's football. Our schedule has been so hectic, with the Thanksgiving Day game. Yeah, before the Thanksgiving Day game, and then you had 4 days. They don't practice leading up to the Thanksgiving Day game. They don't practice. It's like walkthroughs, especially at this part of the season. And then we had a short break, and then we did it again. we had a Sunday game and then a Thursday game. We're not
Yes, I
practicing.
remember that.
So it was a short week on a horrible field. That field is horrible. I can't believe that they're going to play a bowl game on that same field. That field is not a good field.
Yeah, people were dropping like flies for us. This is the part that we were talking about. Can we walk away without the injuries? And there was some scary ones. It definitely was some scary ones. There definitely was plays to be made. There's plays kind of all over the field. I mean, whether it was negative or whether it was positive, this team shows flashes, and there's people that definitely show flashes, and you can't take that away. I mean, even a guy like T.Y. Hilton, which are bringing up in the chat, he did his thing in so many ways. If you don't have him, I mean, there's a couple of plays there that you don't have, and maybe the offense doesn't move. There's guys that are kind of struggling a little bit that can be okay if another guy's in there, like a Noah Brown. I mean, that guy was dropping a lot of passes yesterday. The important passes as well, too, on third down. You were making comments about that. Anything you want to say about Noah Brown's performance?
Noah Brown, I want to see less of him. Nothing against Noah Brown, but you got CD, you got TY. We need to get Michael Gallup going. Bring Noah Brown in as where he should be, as a fourth guy. Nothing wrong with that. If God forbid we had an injury, he's ready to step up, but we need to go in a different direction, man. I mean, we know what he is.
Yeah, he's the number one for Cooper Rush. That's what he is. T.Y. Hilton, yeah.
You saw Harold's in the house. What's up, buddy? You saw what the T.Y. can do with the ball in his hand. He's a lot like CD with the run after catch.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have some guys. Buddy? I mean, even guys who are missing out of the lineup. Obviously, we're missing for our defense. Even Tony Pollard not being in there, being able to dump it out them. You could see them kind of doing some kind of like swing passes with the wide receivers to kind of make up for not having Tony Pollard in there. So I was happy that he was resting. I think a lot of people are okay with these guys resting, getting ready for the playoffs. But obviously, there's still a lot on the line, and we'll see this Sunday whether what's going to happen. What's the strategy going forward?
It'll be fun watching.
Yeah,
it'll be fun watching it. There's not much we could say about this game. I'll just briefly, go on to Dak's numbers.
Allergic to the football. I like it.
Dak was 29 for 41.
Ugh,
you know how I feel
passes.
about that. I didn't want to throw it that much.
Yeah.
But in doing the research, I kind of should have expected them to throw more because the Titans, their scheme, their guys, they don't let anybody run. So it's a little less egregious than I would normally be. 282 with 2 TDs and 2 INTs. We all know that really only had the 1 INT. Mm-hmm. I know they can't do it, but I think the NFL would put a little asterisk down there.
Well, I was reading as well to see how many how many of those interceptions that he's I'm jumping on there. Just keep track of what you're trying to talk about. But when you look at those interceptions, I look back at the season, and 7 of those were these types of situations where it was bouncing off the linemen. So there were 7 of them, about half of the interceptions that are jumping into that same category. So go ahead.
It's just lazy reporting when they say, "Oh my God!" Now, don't get me wrong; he leads the league in interceptions. So
I mean, you can't.
There's truth in everything.
Yes, but, I mean the one, like for example, that there's some ones that he sees, and we've been talking about that. He seems to miss a guy. Like the scheme didn't help him yesterday with the running back holes. Everybody's grouped together, and of course he's throwing that pass. He shouldn't be throwing
the one
that pass.
that he tried to fit in the Dalton.
That's him.
Yeah,
that's
the
totally
one he
him.
tried to fit in the Dalton Schultz was a no. They had, I think it was Zeke. Over on the sideline.
So when I the guy that came back was actually really close to him, so I think he may have been able to make a play on something like that. But when I even look back at the fumble, I take the fumble and I saw that Tyler Biadasz, it comes up, Dak starts to go up, and actually it looks like Zach Martin starts to maybe roll. He starts to kind of he starts to come out of his position, and his hand actually hits the ball out of Dak's hand. So I'm just like, wow. And it was from the other angle that you had to see it, but it was like a real quick smack. And it was just, he just happened to swing his arm, and the ball came popping out of Dak's hand. And so it's just these freak little accidents that you're just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And that's where we're talking about.
Here's the important thing. Yeah. Here's the important thing we got to You know, those of us who like Dak, yeah, people are going to talk. That's what they do. It's like, it's. I was watching ESPN earlier, and they were saying it's just America's. I was listening to uh, what's his name, the ex Chiefs coach Herman.
Yeah, Herman Edwards.
Herman Edwards.
We
Yeah,
win.
he was
We
saying,
play to win the game.
We play to win the game. No, he was saying it's like the Lakers, man. I mean, love them or hate them, people want to talk about them, talk bad about them. Just as many people who hate them as love them, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Angelica, how are you?
I will point out, Angelica actually
it was just
made
one
a
of
comment.
those deals where
Angelica made a comment on someone,
I'm
and
beating a dead horse, but
no, you're right, man. It's just Angelica was on the Twitter earlier, and she's talking to Rome, and Rome was pointing out that there was a lot of these situations where they inflate what other teams are doing when the score is very similar, and they chop down everything that we have. We turned the ball over 3 times. Yes, we took the ball away as well too, but we still scored a lot of points. There was fumbles, there's interceptions. We were given the ball on their half-yard line. This defense is missing a lot of injuries. So they balled. They still balled. Yes, it's not the starters, it's not Derrick Henry. There's a lot, but these guys are still making the league. I look at the overall performance. You can't. It's a lot like the Eagles. You don't pick your schedule. You don't pick what happens to the other team. You just have to play who's in front of you. And you got to give them credit that the Tennessee Titans were making the plays. I think DMV kept pointing it out that when the opportunities were given to them, they picked it off. They grabbed the interceptions. Where our guys, there was a lot of drops, interceptions. So there could have been 6 or 7 interceptions there, or just turnovers in general. So I give our defense credit for being in the right situation. That's the part that I get out of it that I like, is that they're in the right spots. They're about to make a play. They just didn't finish it out. They play defense. There's a reason why they can't catch the ball. The only one out there is probably Diggs because he was a wide receiver, right? But what do you think about the defense? How do you think they actually played? What do you think about their performance?
Defense was fine against the run. The pass, it's a little shaky right now. I really think they're worn down. I think rest is going to do this defense a world of good. Not to mention getting back a few bodies that'll be ready for the playoffs. It'll be interesting what happens this week, but their defense, it gave up 13 points.
Angelica.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. We're creating turnovers. We lead the league for the 2nd year in a row. Sometimes I think, and I'm guilty of this, we get greedy. We want to look great week in, week out. Who would have thought you have back-to-back 12-win seasons? We have 24 wins, 2 years. Think about that, people. After our Super Bowl run in the 90s, we had a lot. We had 3, 5, and 11, bro. It was not good. Jason Garrett was Mr. 8-8. If we had a good year, the next year we were 8-8.
Yes.
So
that's what I do get excited about. I do get excited about.
You want.
Yeah.
We lost to a team last year who went to the Super Bowl. Oh, well, Dallas choked against the Niners. Okay. Niners obviously, went on to win again and then make it to the Super Bowl, right? So,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
No,
when you put it in the bigger picture again.
The championship game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Rams win and stuff like that. But either way, San Francisco was a great defense. People were struggling with them, and it tends to be that Dallas plays these teams, and then the truth about those teams comes out later. Oh well, maybe they're actually pretty good. They're playing other teams good. Go ahead.
Yeah, remember I told you a couple weeks ago, and everybody goes, "Oh, Dallas, Dallas." Dallas has to play this team. Dallas has to play that team. People have to play Dallas too.
Yep, that's correct.
That's
correct.
Yeah, you don't. Not every coach that they talk to always gives a lot of respect. It's more the fans that get all Dallas going to joke. It's more the coaches. They know the deal. So it'll be interesting. But let's give a big shout out because I don't know that he's going to play this week. Depending on what happened on Sunday, CeeDee Lamb. This may be his final number of the season if he don't play next week, only because if we don't need the game, he ain't gonna play.
Yeah.
CD, he has 102 receptions for 1,307 yards and 8 touchdowns. So that's impressive. He's got over 100 catches. Now, obviously, in a normal year, this would be it anyway, right? So, but yeah, he's got 102, receptions for 1,300 yards. That's a hell of a year for him.
That is. And remember, we were questioning in the beginning of the season. We were seeing some drops. Yeah, we were seeing those. And again, like I keep pointing out, but Mike on Cowboys Corner, when he was on here, he pointed out, he goes, I think this is the moment that CD took that turn in. I think he was right, man, because after that, he was balling. I mean, there's always those moments where you're going to, have a concentration thing, but it's not been the same, man. He has definitely taken that number one role. And yes, I think, okay, this is the bigger thing. Okay, so you hear people talking about how CeeDee Lamb's going into the slot. Well, you see him in the slot, so he's not a number. Your number one is your number one. You're trying to get him open. You're trying to scheme him open. And I think that's the same thing that the defense needs to do when you see Parsons. Parsons is our number one guy. Let's just not line him up and expect him to just keep beating. Let's scheme him open, Let's scheme him to make a play. So, I mean, you were seeing him running around quite a bit yesterday with his club and getting fumbles with that club. So a lot of questions were involved around there. So, I mean, if you see the bigger picture, what happens this Sunday? If you really think about it, I mean, we don't have a huge roster, so there's obviously people that are going to have to play. But when you think about the big, giant picture, you've got a 10-day window right now that you're about before you go to your next game. Let's say a lot of those guys do not play. That's another 7 days on top of that.
Right.
So right there, you got almost 2 weeks that you're resting fully. I mean, there's guys like, to me, that, that are right there on borderline, like Jaron Kearse. He's always a guy that seems to be banged up. He could use some time. Anybody else you're thinking of that could use definitely some time away?
Well, yeah. D-Law, Micah Parsons.
I think D-Law takes time away anyways.
I would say Zach Martin. Time
oh, man.
Off.
I thought he
there's
got hurt
a lot
yesterday.
of guys. There's Jaron Kearse could use some time off.
But hopefully they don't get an opportunity
There's a lot
at
of
all.
guys that are banged.
Honestly, like I'm in that
Gotta
thing
play.
where gotta play, and hopefully it means something next week. So that way, hey, we're having to play.
Thompson?
Makes the end of the
BJB?
season. I guess. And I appreciate everybody that came in yesterday subscribing as well, man. I really appreciate the big numbers. We're almost halfway through to the 1,000 to get monetized finally. So that's really cool. It's exciting. Yeah, just. You can ask Bryan about 10 when I get 10
CD
subscribers, I'm so happy.
3? I don't think so. It's the Digger is saying CD would be a third
on the birds.
He's
on the birds.
He would
he'd probably be number 2. AJ Brown would be the number 1. But I don't think they wouldn't have gone out and got AJ Brown either.
To AJ,
so they would have been their number 1.
I think he does more than Devontae. I love Devontae, don't get me wrong, but I think CD does more. But it's close. It was a great deal that we
Pat hit me. Pat Thompson got me right there.
Thanks.
Exactly. Glimmerman brings up a great point here. I would rest the O-line. Man, when you looked at the play yesterday with the O-line, wow, it was really, everybody had their struggles. I don't think there was anybody that was like, oh, that guy was dominating. Don't move him. Like, everybody had their struggles.
Tyler Smith struggled again.
Yep. You saw that a lot.
Governor actually did okay.
You when he got switched into the inside, it was
when he went to guard. So I think it'll help the line. Actually, I think it helps the line. But I'm almost at the point where, and I know they're not going to do this, but I'm almost at the point where you play Peters more at left. Let's say that Biotis is healthy, right? I think McGovern's doing good, really good at right guard. I think you leave Peters at left tackle, and you sub out with Tyler Smith. I think that's what you do. I think Tyler's really struggling right now.
It's the air. I think. No, I think you're right. I think you pointed out a good.
I think he's hitting that wall.
The rookie wall. The rookie wall is what you're just tired. You're getting banged up. You got short weeks, so he's taking on 300-pound dudes that are just. These guys are strong, and he's taking some damage. So
now he's got to think.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to jump onto the other side of the line.
So now he's got to think. It's a little different.
Yeah, I'm going to jump over to the other side of the line.
It's one
right?
of those deals where rest will definitely help everybody at this point. So,
yeah. So Brian, hold on. I'm going to jump on the other side of the line, and with Zach Martin and Tyron Smith, because a great combination. I mean, you got to give Tyron Smith credit for stepping into that right tackle position and not having to be begged to do it. Chose to help the team, and I love that. I mean, he, it's a different step. So he's been doing, he's been stepping to the left for, a decade, and now, having to step over to the right, it's definitely a lot different, especially with habits. But you're also seeing, for example, Zach Martin kind of try to adjust as well. And this is why it's a good reason to have all these games together and not just have switched Tyron over. I like that they left him there. They brought in Peters because Peters definitely can do better at the left than Peters can do at the right. So they were smart there. But I think you see it, like I when I watch back of the plays, I see Zach Martin. Like, I think Zach Martin's very used to Terrence Steele being there, because he holds his block just a little bit, or he helps out a little bit, because he's had to kind of make up for those weaker parts in Steele's game. But now that Smith's there, right, he's holding the block maybe a little bit longer, and he realized, I didn't need to do that because Tyron was already on it. So I mean, he's trying to adjust as well too, and you can see some parts where Zach Martin is even struggling, and that says a lot because Zach Martin is amazing, probably our all-star on the offense in general. So yeah, you're seeing it all the way across the line. I like your idea in the sense if you're bringing, having McGovern and Tyron Smith, maybe that's the guy you need to rest as well too, because yeah, you're right. I have seen him getting beat a little bit more, but I think again that's not off the skill. It's just he's just tired.
Yeah, well, I don't think Peters could play a whole game at his age anyway. I just mean it wouldn't be bad to sub him with. Yeah, that's assuming Biotis is ready. If Biotis is not ready, then you're leaving how it was at the end of the game.
Which I thought was really good. Either way, I mean, I don't
it's
feel...
It's not horrible.
Yeah, I don't feel terrible about it.
It's not a horrible situation.
No.
Yeah,
it just sucks.
Let's
because
put it this way. Yeah. Hell of a lot better. Now, go ahead.
No, it's true. I mean, it was a hell of a lot better because... No, I was just saying that, like, towards the end of the game, you saw once they kind of put everything to the side... They were moving the ball pretty well, and it was with that lineup. Again, I'm not trying to take anything from Biotis as well, too, because he's been doing great. It's just not a name that we've had to say a whole lot this season, which, cheers to him, man. He's been definitely doing a great job, kind of like Steele, where you weren't saying Steele's name a whole lot, because he was doing really well, too. So, where's the Texans?
Yeah.
Oh, the same spot on the couch, yeah. Like, they're gotta love the trash talking within the chat. I like it. I like it with Eastside Herald and Glimmerman as well too.
Cole's Cowboys, what's up, buddy? How are you?
And they got Pat Thompson.
What do you think of the game, Coles?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the ups and downs. I mean, when we talked about Dax, we talked about the offensive line. Let's talk about Zeke's performance here. I thought Zeke didn't have all the yardage in the world, but he ran tough.
Not Zeke though.
Ran tough. Malik was doing.
It was the field. Every time he put his foot in the ground,
slide.
There was a lot of those plays where you put your foot, and it's not the cleat; it's the
the turf. It just slides. It slides out from under you.
Yeah, it slides. So normally he puts his foot down and he gets 4 or 5 yards. Here he wasn't getting it. You can get as long as cleat as you want. You're on mud basically. Yeah, spray painted. It was horrible.
But he was still tough yards. That's why I said they're having
a college bowl game there. It really should be interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm good with Zeke.
How'd you like Malik Davis filling in for Pollard?
Yeah, I thought Malik Davis was good. He, what he showed? He showed them fresh legs.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Hey, listen. If there's a part of me that wants the Eagles to win, so we know because we've already locked up, we can't drop no more than the 5th. We'll be basically locked in the 5th seed, and like you said, we could basically rest, for a whole week and a half, basically, a week.
2 weeks, about 2 weeks,
not going to
really.
hit that hard in practice.
10 days, 17, 17 days.
Hey, Jessica. Yeah, so that would be one way to look at it. Obviously, I want the bye, but it's not just the Eagles. We got, we would have to have Minnesota lose one more, which I think they will lose. I think Minnesota's going to lose this week in Lambeau, but they have 2 road games. So that's there's a lot to play out. Jalen Hurts is not playing. FYI, he's not playing Sunday. By us winning is putting Eagles in a horrible situation because they have to play.
Yep.
They have to get a win. You can sit there and say, "Oh, it's a foregone conclusion." You have to beat a team who's fighting for the playoff.
Yep.
So
yeah, even if it's not a great team, it's still going to be a possible playoff team. So, I mean, they will give a fight. It's kind of like that Green Bay as well. Green Bay will be fighting. So I'm interested to see these next couple of games as well, too. But you were right, man. You kind of go into that weekend a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more like, okay, let's see what happens, and kind of just let the table kind of just turn. Like, you can't do anything about it. Just enjoy and watch the show. Get your popcorn ready, kind of, as they say. Jessica coming in with their yelling. I love it. Jessica, yes, we got the victory, and we're 12-4 and not 4-12. Happy Victory Friday, actually. she's on Monday. She's like, I'm gonna be celebrating all the way to Monday.
Negative. Everybody is so negative, Jessica. I was just saying this is back-to-back 12-win season.
Nah, she got it. Right
That's a beautiful thing right there. We get spoiled, It's like, oh my God, it's been so long. Yeah, I understand we all want to win a Super Bowl, but there's teams that don't do this back-to-back years. We have to take our hat off to Mike McCarthy, and people go, "Oh, it's all about playoff wins." Okay, but you need to be in position to get to there, and we are there again.
That's one thing about
Angelica
it. Pat
says, "How about those Knowles?"
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was giving a little Knowles type of thing there for her. We got Pat Thompson saying, I got labeled a hater. Signals? Yes, exactly. It's a Cowboys thing, so I just kind of got to do a little thing that was like, hey, is he a Chiefs fan? No.
I love that we won. That's all that matters. Yeah,
yes.
I hear you, Coles.
Pat Thompson was
kind
saying...
of...
No, go ahead. I'll bring up Pat's here in a second. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's not how I wanted it to be. I wanted us to... shorten the game, run the ball, but Titans don't let anybody run. I didn't like that Dak threw the ball 41 times. That was frustrating. Go ahead.
No, so Pat Thompson saying that he went on the 105 this morning and in the YouTube chat, and he was criticized for basically he was labeled a hater, and that's a lot of it as well too. You can't. I mean, I understand a lot of the Cowboy fans definitely want to focus on.
Now, were you in the chat, Pat?
Yes, that's what he was in the Tolo chat, and
yeah. I watched that. I had it on all day too. Didn't really do too much today. I was kind of lazy around the house, but I never really just, I normally have it on my TV, so I didn't really check out the chat.
No, and he was labeled a hater. I mean, a lot of that comes as well too. I mean, whether you're pointing out something that Dak's doing or this offensive line, and we all see it. It's just a lot of people don't want to hear it out loud, or people complaining about it. I think that's a lot of what you'll see in the Facebook chats as well too. It's a lot of negativity, so it's understandable. But it's coming. I mean, Cowboy Nation is so big. You're going to have different types of people that handle losses and handle wins. Totally different.
Alton Lawless.
They want to blow people out 40-0 with no penalties and no flags, and it's understandable. But these guys are human; they make mistakes. The other guys on the other side of the field are also professionals. As soon as they take off their shirts, you realize that how much more better in shape they are than us, and they're athletes, man. They make plays as well too. So I mean, you got to give them credit. I mean, they got to. Tennessee still did pretty well for their opportunities that they were given. So. Going into the next game, that's going to be a whole little different thing with Washington. Obviously, division rivals. Is it going to mean something? Is it not going to mean something? Is it going to be on Saturday? Is it going to be on Sunday? Is it going to be in the afternoon? Is it going to be in the evening? They don't even know. They're probably going to be waiting until the end of these games to kind of make something up, right?
You know what it is? Quiz. It's about being respectful. If anybody knows me and Phil, we're not the type to say our team's good, your team sucks. That's just not how it is, especially me. Phil, he gets a little.
I do.
I'm playing, but as long as you're respectful. I mean, I had the guy that wanted to kick my teeth in a couple weeks ago on Mark's Live. I'm like, dude, just relax. I just have opinions. It's just my opinion. It's not your opinion. So, people get all nuts. World's crazy sometimes.
Yeah, we are doing good with penalties.
I'm sure the
And
coach
Glimmerman's pointing that out.
Same thing, yeah.
Glimmerman's pointing that out, and that was even with the referee crew that we saw very early just started whipping out those flags.
It actually worked out.
I said whip out. But that's the drinking part. Where is it in the show? But yeah, they just started throwing those flags. You're like, oh, in that first couple of drives, you're like, this is how it's going to be, really? And then it went away. So you don't know if maybe the NFL, like, hey, man, you got to calm that stuff down. Or he has a quota. The only way that I'm going to officiate is if I'm on TV about 25% of the time. And and he does his thing. So I like the fact that this team, it's not a major thing. Like last year, obviously going into the playoffs, what was one of our main disappointments was that we were constantly being flagged. Some of them were phantom flags. Some of them were just us being stupid and undisciplined. So it's good that that's not a very big issue as of right now. It just, you suck. It sucks because the time that it does happen, it seems to be on kickoff returns when Turpin's doing his thing.
Yeah. I always forget about Turpin because I want to see him more on offense. Man, that dude could run forever. I think he needs to. Get some offensive plays because I think, like when he's on the sideline, and he finally fields a kickoff or a punt, his legs move too fast.
Yeah,
and then he trips. I think
he's all charged up. He's like,
to run down the field a few times, just like that. You know what I mean? Like slower is faster type of deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's like, yeah. So, I mean, I thought maybe that he was just tired because obviously he just played a whole USFL season and then he backed it up with another season on top of that.
He's tired, but he's
not getting enough.
He's on cloud 9.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just happy to be in the NFL. You can see it. 9. I love it because you hear the sounds of the game and he's always there. He's always there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That game that they play at the end of the. No, Turpin, man. Like when you see the sounds of the game, he's always occasionally comes in. He goes, yeah. Like he'll say something crazy. It's funny. I love seeing him and stuff. He got a lot of good energy. I love his energy there. It gets other people excited about it. I mean, it gets Cowboy Nation. We weren't excited about punt and kickoff returns for a little while now. So at least somebody that you feel that you never know when you're gonna break one, and he gets so excited when it starts to happen. So yeah, I'm all for keeping this guy on the roster as well too. So let's see what the chat is saying. Yeah, happy Factory Friday. Hockley's Cruise likes to throw flags anyways. Yes, that is correct.
I was on Twitter and I had Prescott, Dak's brother.
Yes,
he's always defending Dak, which
good for him.
Should.
Good for him.
He was even saying how great them uniforms look. I really
just
like
a terrible day to wear them.
Those white uniforms in a driving rain to start, and it was basically a mud bowl. Spray painted. There was a little bit of grass, but it didn't last long.
See, where was Tide and all these Mr. Clean products that they could have jumped in on this and made a commercial right there. Let's make a live commercial. Boom. There you go. See, marketing always just going.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Glimmerman screams around. We're talking about Turpin. He needs a screen or a pitch play.
Yeah, he's
getting antsy.
Yeah,
he's getting antsy on the returns. I
agree. Instead of doing this stupid leaf flickers and all that, let's just get him on a smoke screen. Like I said, I understand you can't run him across the middle. I get that.
He's a little dude.
7.
Yeah.
So.
But let's let him down the sideline.
55 pounds.
Yeah, the ball went most of the time.
You can send him on a fly route, a 9 route, whatever.
Yes.
Deep post.
Yes. I'm all for that.
Pat Thompson. I really love those.
Those uniforms are fire. Yes, I love the helmets. They were. Yeah. They were. No, are you guys talking? Is Eastside in them? Are they talking about the interceptions?
I won't accidentally block you.
See, here's the thing. I'm going to jump on this. Interception thing, okay? So, one, we just looked back and said, okay, we go 14 interceptions. How many were in the chest? If you are going to say that the one that hit Noah's chest and then bounced out is totally Dak's fault, or the one that Hendershot does, and I can't argue with you. You're not looking at the bigger picture. Hendershot, bobble, pops it up in the air. How is that? Ball. And then, bam, there's an interception. So, like 7 of them in the season are easily his fault. And they talk about the one. Wait, hold on. There's one thing that they love. Write it down, dude.
No, I'm letting you get it out.
There's the 5 that now I just lost it. With Dak and his interceptions, so you got 7 that that actually
hands a shot.
No, what I was saying was a lot of people want to point out with the 5 games that he hasn't been here, he's still leading the league. Yes, I totally get it. You can jump on that as well if you want to. But when you look at the bigger picture, how many quarterbacks are keeping their job that they're not switching out constantly? They're very quick to say 5 more games that he's been out, but how many times has Justin Fields been out? How many times has any of these other quarterbacks, been out as well too? So I mean, you just got the big ones that have constantly stayed in, but the other ones haven't been constant all 15 to 17 games. So that whole he's been 5, he's still leading the league. I get it, but there's so much context to that. So I apologize as well. But when you even look back at the great, somebody pointed it out, like even with Troy Aikman. I mean, we all know Troy Aikman was very accurate, but he was very average as well. Had a lot of interceptions. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said there, but there's a lot of ammo for them as well. So I can't fault that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Cole's Cowboys says it's time to let Kelvin Joseph go. We're not going to let him go this year. It's not going to happen. But I get what you're saying. Even he was like our special teams ace, him and Goodwin. He's not even doing that good anymore. Every time he's in the game, there's a penalty. He's a walking penalty, whether it's on special teams.
Yeah, Angelica's fast.
I mean, he's literally, what do you call it? He's literally interfered with the fair catch at least 3 times this year, which is a 15-yard penalty. Against good teams, we can't do that. We can get away with it against average to slightly above like Tennessee. He ain't gonna get away with it in the playoffs. So I'm with Cole. Something's got to give. We're getting some.
Okay, Eric. Well, what are you talking about? That was classic Primetime. There was a lot of us in the stream at that moment, and we were like, "Huh?" Yeah, I got to figure out what he's talking about there. But yeah, I like what Jeff Lee is saying here. He says, "I say bench Noah Brown and start T.Y. Hilton to make him realize that you got to get your shit up. You got to get it together." I totally understand. I would just do that because yes, he's making plays. Obviously, you got to kind of watch him because you want him ready for the playoffs. Because again, he has that soft tissue thing. You don't never know when it's just going to happen. I do like that he's fresh. He's making plays. I am definitely with it, though. Put him in there. Because Noah Brown is definitely a great weapon for if we have to put Cooper Rush in there. I just kind of keep him in the back burner, just keep him warm a little bit to, just in case you have to put Cooper Rush. He feels comfortable with Noah Brown, and that's when you'll probably see Noah Brown makes a lot of plays. So, I still like that.
I agree with Michael Dana and Coles. Michael Dana says KJ is an accident ready to happen. Cole says KJ has no discipline. Absolutely. And it is what it is. He's not going nowhere. He's going to help us. God forbid he's going to have to play. It's just unfortunate, man. But hey, listen.
Oh yeah.
You look at him, then you look at DeRon Bland, right?
Yes.
If it was Kelvin Joseph drafted in round 5 and Bland drafted in round 2, we would be like, oh, yeah, I mean, everything's great. It only has to do that we drafted him in the 2nd round, but you know what?
Yeah.
It is what it is. We're going to roll with what
I would have rather have
Asante
Samuel.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? But
Eric, I get it. I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about on the thing when Mark kicked you, when he blocked you and knocked you out because he was all upset, thought you were talking trash.
Yeah. That was accident.
Brooklyn Joe, ass man crap strikes again, and it's true. And I think what's funny is that every time these happen, is it just me or like do you just see his jersey? You know what I'm saying? Like, you always just see his jersey number, the number 1.
Burnt man toast. That's
Joseph. Every time he makes a mistake, you can see his number clear as day. Like, there is no fault. Well, maybe it's another guy. No, it's him. You just always see the back of his jersey committing the foul. You're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, it
is what it is, though. We're not gonna harp on the negative. We got a team that's heading into the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, let's jump back
get
on
healthy. You know what I mean? It's like we
Okay.
get.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
I'm
talking about
annoyed at
this.
Kelvin Joseph, but it's only a small annoyance. I didn't expect Deron Bland to be. Listen, if
Mentos.
you're going to be honest, I understand that Sauce Gardner is probably going to get Defensive Rookie of the Year, but Sauce has been hurt. You know, Deron Bland has more interceptions than Sauce Gardner. Now, they probably won't get it to Deron Bland, but he's in the conversation.
I think he is.
So, you know what I mean? He has to be in the conversation. And it was funny because I was listening to Trayvon Diggs talk about it. He goes, "We knew in training camp that he was somebody special." And it's like amazing that a kid comes in, does that well out of a small school. Now all the other teams, because I heard Brian Broaddus say that, he was like, all the other GMs and all the other player personnel people are saying, what did we miss with this guy? And what did the colleges miss? Because he wasn't even offered a D1 scholarship. Yet he comes into an NFL training camp and
blows the
from
blows the doors
minute
off.
one, first practice, he shows what he is, and everybody's like, dude. Sometimes you know. Sometimes you see somebody and you just know.
Yeah, and that's
He's
why a lot of
this a long time. He's really good. Really
yeah, and that's why you should definitely watch the games as well too, because then you can see those. For example, as we watch the defense, as we're switching over to talking about it, we know that, for example, like Wright. How about Wright? His play, his interception. He's for safety. Obviously, he's been doing a really good job of filling in. He's got that lanky body, so it's hard to get the passes over him. So he definitely has that working for him. So they're definitely plugging some people in. I like it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, he's not an all-pro corner or anything like that, but, man, he is definitely doing a great job filling in for the role. And I think that's all you can ask for a lot of these guys. They're not used to the position, but they're having to be pushed into that position. They're still making plays because they're athletes. You know, great scouting with Will McClay and everything to get that. I know a lot of us, with Deshaun Wright, when he was drafted, it was like, what is going on here? We could have got him on the 6th. You know how that is. And I know I was probably definitely one of those guys. But, you know, definitely coming in and making great plays. I love the and bringing up Angelica as well. Crap. Curse, I love that. I love Curse. He's a Mark big Hudson. Dude. What's Mark saying?
Hey, Mark, I feel bad for Mark Hudson.
Oh, thank you.
Mark
Hudson.
Thank you. I feel bad for you, man. Thanks for the 500. I appreciate that, but I feel bad.
Why?
Mark should have given you something else, man. I don't care. He keeps pulling out your name. Should have won, right?
Yep.
Come on. I mean, I know. I understand not every time, but
oh, hopefully he's still...
Basically, you know, you're putting in the super chats. So, come on,
he's got that winning name. He's got.
Let me know what you want. The next time I'm over Mark's, I'll make sure we send something out to you. So.
Yeah,
man.
Twist Digga says this perfectly. He goes, I hate that they do combines because they get awed by the size of people instead of the tape. Yeah, and that's exactly. I mean, you'll always see somebody that will train just for the combine. They just train to perform in the combine. They perform amazingly, get drafted high, and then don't have the NFL career. So, I mean, you were seeing a lot of that during the whole COVID time as well, too, as they were able to practice just for the combine. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's always somebody that comes out of there.
In the house. What's up, bud?
The Raiders were always notorious for taking somebody out of the draft. Oh, that's the fastest guy in the whole draft. Yeah. All right, we're taking him first round. You know, so it is kind of funny, and you know, and I try not to get too caught up into those whole things, but it's hard not to watch it, especially with football in the off season. You know. Okay.
Haggerty.
Yeah, and I think he goes. Eric's talking to Alton. He goes, I think the big issue is Philly is leading the division, so it makes it a lot tougher road. And I think Bryan has brought this up that we play pretty well in those because we always have to play over there. So it's not an awkward situation for us to go into those types of houses and perform. We're used to it every single year. We're used to the crowd. If you're used to Philly crowd, you're used to anybody.
I have a weird feeling. And don't get me wrong, if I had to pick, I'd rather be home. You know, we're 8-1 at home, people. But obviously, we want to play at home. Everybody wants to say we don't have a home field. We're 8-1 at home this year. Okay, so we've lost 3 on the road. So that we're 4-3 right now. Play one more. So I'd rather play home, but I just think we match up good. I think.
We can
I
travel.
mean, I'm not going to look past. I'm not going to look because we're playing Tom Brady. We can sit here and root for Carolina all we want. I'll be shocked if Carolina goes into Tampa Bay and wins on Sunday. If they do, then that's wonderful. But I'm not expecting that at all. We're going to be going to Tampa Bay. So if Tampa wins on Sunday, they win the division. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, as we're talking about the draft, there's some guys. There's like Mike Aldana brings up. That's like Percy Harvey. Harvey. Oh my God, Harvin. There it is.
Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin. Thank you. My God, it was not coming out. All speed, no football IQ, and you would see a lot of those guys on the Raiders roster where you're just like, what? And I'm not sure why they picked him. And I remember being young in football, not understanding why they're picking somebody. And then when you get later on, I'm like, oh, it was just the Raiders. Okay.
So
and then
Pat Thompson brings up if we beat Tampa Bay, we could propel into the Super Bowl. I don't disagree with that. Now, just think of this real quick. Okay, wherever we go in the first round, especially if it's Tampa and we get out with a win, if we play the Eagles in the next round, let's say that the 6 and 7 seed don't win their wild card game. Okay, let's say they don't
at the bottom.
win their. So now we would have to go to Philly. Philly would be waiting, but they would have. If Philly wins this week, Jalen Hurts is going to have 3 weeks off. He's never won a playoff game. Everybody remember the debacle last year against Tampa Bay?
Yeah,
they were embarrassed last year.
But they definitely have a better team. I know you've mentioned it. They definitely have a better team.
They have a better team, but what I'm saying is now it's the playoffs.
Yep, it's a whole different. Everybody hits harder.
Yardage that you got in the regular season, your great record. Everybody's 0-0 in the playoffs. We would be 1-0. We will be coming off a playoff win with some momentum. All the pressure in the world would be on the. I don't have a problem with that. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I love the path in front of us. We can just win out. Don't worry about it again. I love the mentality they're having. Yeah, they're not all going to be beautiful wins, but we are winning the games. And I love what Mike McCarthy said in the sense that, hey, okay, we didn't win style points, but they don't mark those tallies on the record book as, well, that was a pretty win, so you get 2 points there. This isn't soccer. You don't get an extra 3 points for scoring more. This is just straight up football. Your record is what it is, and hey, man, we're 12-4, and I think that's what I get excited about with Mike McCarthy. I know a lot of people, they do the whole relationship thing, like, oh, I like my relationship, but there's that one over there with Sean Payton, and that one looks really nice as well, too. But when you look at the records, they're the same, one Super Bowl and how many victories.
Now I'm here in Arizona.
I like the fact that McCarthy, when he was in Green Bay was always a competitor. They were always in the playoffs. Maybe they missed a year or so, but they were always a contender, and that's what I want this Cowboys team to be. People was always like, in the past they've done this. Well, in the past we haven't been 2 12-win seasons. In the past we have folded when the backups have had to come in. When our starter has gone out for our quarterback, our team has gone downhill, and we get a draft a very high pick like a Ezekiel Elliott because we couldn't find anybody to do it. So this is a different team. It's a different coaching staff. This is a different head coach that's handling Jerry Jones. Jones says something 1 minute, 2 minutes later, Mike McCarthy counters it with what he says. So he's found his own formula. I like what he's done. I love the culture. So I'm one of those pro McCarthy staying kind of guys. So
yeah, Flo says a consensus. And the remnants of constant migraines have made Percy Harvin retire. Harvin was really like that. Kid could return, catch, run, literally everything. Yeah, he was a special talent.
In Minnesota.
Not everybody can handle this NFL. It's rough. Mark Hutchin, I would like for us to get another running back. The guy from Texas looks great. Wiz the Digger. There you go. He's right, though. We can sit there and say, give him a mean face, but at the end of the day,
true.
he's right. We haven't beaten
We
Tom
haven't
Brady
beaten him.
yet. We haven't beaten him.
But that would be the heck of a
But that's what we're talking about, Twiz. That's what we're talking about. If we were able to beat them, right?
So yeah,
I would rather play Tampa because if we go, because when we go to Tampa, there's going to be people that pick Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Know that.
Yeah.
If we go to Carolina, we're going to be expected to roll.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it is right now, Green Bay is in contention to make it. What is it? They went out, I'm not even sure what they went out with a couple of things that they can, if teams lose, for example, New York. New York ends up losing. They have to play the next following week. So there's a lot of teams. I mean, Green Bay's, going to be fighting as well. So it's going to really determine a lot of what happens this upcoming weekend on whether these teams are even going to be fighting for playoffs, or other teams are going to be a little bit easier. Like, I think Bryan's brought it up a couple of times where we've talked about how, is Washington going to be trying to fight for her life? Is New York going to be trying to fight to go into the playoffs or stay in the playoffs give another team, it fits? There's so many questions.
Jessica's going.
I don't know who we playing after watching the game because we don't worry. And that's true. I mean, she has a great mentality. You play with who's in front of you, and that's all you can do. You can't, obviously predict who you're going to win. You just know who's in the playoffs and who you have a possibility of winning. That South, I think, is still up for grabs. You could be going to Carolina as well, like you were saying. I mean, New Orleans could still somehow sneak in there if the other ones collapse as well, too. So So like you said before, Bryan, we do travel very well. Yeah, we do play down to some competition.
Yeah, now
play up.
Yeah, we do. But I wanted to go over a couple games. You got the Saints at the Eagles. Mm-hmm. That's obviously for us. That's a big one. If the Saints win, then it's gonna be. Then it's on, right? For the following week, it'll be very interesting. And you know what the NFL will do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mark was afraid that they were going to make us the night game against the Commanders. They're not going to do that.
No. They're going to put two games on at the same time. Yeah.
They're going to have them on at the same time. So you can't, because I would rather be scheduled for the night game.
That way we know if we're
I
playing
let the Eagles play. That way you know what's going on, and then you just roll into the night. And all right, Cooper Rush. All right, let's elevate Tolbert. Yeah, you can't have all the backups. You have some. Let's have a backup offensive line. That's what I would do.
Put Kelvin Joseph.
We're not going to do that. We're going to play.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles and Dallas, either going to play it at 1 o'clock or at 4 o'clock. That's how it's going to roll. So. But that's that game, and then at the same time, it's Panthers at Tampa, Angelica. So I'm sure you'll have I won't get that game here, but you guys will probably get that game.
Yeah, so a lot of people are making some good points here.
I could care less about the Commanders. Vikings and Packers are 4 o'clock, 4:25. I'll actually enjoy that game. I'm going to root for the Packers on that.
So, Mark Hutchinson says Washington loses to Green Bay, and then they got to win out to get in. And so, and Green Bay would be in that contention as well, too. And that would keep Green Bay's hopes alight. Doesn't Green Bay play Philly that next following week?
Cowboys Mafia, what up?
Not really sure about that whole
schedule
at the end. So, I mean, that would mean as well. And then Flo says if Minshew plays, there's a chance for the Saints. That's still a really good, talented defense in New Orleans, and it's true. Teams aren't putting a ton of points on with them, and that's why Andy Dalton has been able to stay within some games. It's just towards the end, it kind of just gets out of hand when they start throwing those interceptions and stuff like that. So this defense for Philly can definitely take advantage of it, but it depends on the game plan going in there. I mean, if they kind of copy what we did in some ways. I'm not saying that there's a blueprint out for that, but if any team is going to always play them tough and know how to play them, it's definitely teams within the division. So watch those division games, and you definitely have a shot. Is that game in Philly?
Yeah. Pat Thompson, the game is in Philly, yes. And Wentz is back.
Oh, I heard about that too.
Me. But here's the deal. eyebrows. After he starts for a period of time, he ends up going down. So this might be one of those deals where you push him to the bench. Listen, man, he did it to himself. He's missing open guys. The offense is stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
This is a way to bring him in. I think Washington. I don't know that they have to win them both, but they probably do. I would say they have to win them both. You could always bring in eyebrows to, come in on a short notice. He seems to be better at that.
And that's why we were hoping that the Giants would lose this weekend, so they have to play next weekend. So, eyebrows.
Yeah, Mark, man, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Mark, I was just telling everybody, they're not gonna. It's a guarantee thing. After I was watching one of your videos, they're not gonna have Dallas as the late game, and that's because they're going to have them and the Eagles play at the same time. There's no way that one's going to play late. So
just to give it a meaning,
one or 425. So
yeah, both of them will kind of collide. Probably the one. Yeah, I definitely see that as well.
50K mark. Yeah, 50, right.
50 mark. I like it.
We have a 5-0 too. All right. Hey, you ordered your chip, right, Phil?
Yes, I did.
Ordered your chip?
I did order the chip.
So we got to come up with something of when we're actually going to eat this damn thing.
So it's in the mail. It's
we'll
coming.
Have to come up with something after we get a certain amount of followers, or I don't know. By the Super Bowl, I have to eat that thing. So.
Is it expiring soon?
Another one. I have no idea.
Probably goes on forever. It's like.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, Mark. How was Delaware? How was the gray paint? How was the Dallas colors?
Yeah, and I appreciate you having us on yesterday as we were talking and getting excited and going up and down roller coaster with yesterday's game. But again, in the end, a very good score, a score that Bryan predicted. 20. Whip that box out. That's one thing we got to acknowledge.
Get a little something.
Yeah, I was gonna make a graphic, but then I continued living my life.
What I had, man. Come on, man. 27-13 Dallas. I called it.
He called it, man. I was like, when it happened, I was like.
Hey, listen, even a broken clock can be right twice a day, right? Yeah. But I did call it. I usually take pride in being close to the field. It means like an ebb and a flow. I love Dallas. Dallas is my team, but it's an ebb and a flow, It's like ebb and a flow.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes I'm surprised, like I was with Tampa Bay when Cooper Rush beat Tampa, but that was a good surprise, You're
talking about Cincinnati. You're talking about Cincinnati.
Yeah, Mark.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good prediction. Like I was
it's the spike deck.
I know. That's why after a while we had to start putting the names here, just because I'm like, oh man, they're calling him Phil, me Bryan, so I was like, all right, I got to make it a little bit easier on these guys. That's my fault. That's my fault.
Bryan. Game time, Bryan. Oh wait.
Oh man, Pat's I pulled 12 hours yesterday. Glad I got NFL Plus on my phone. I was able to watch the game on the phone, and that's awesome. That's good. Exact.
Yeah,
man, when it makes it, especially the victory, makes you kind of put your chest out at work, and you feel a little bit better about it.
Glimmerman, you were close too.
Yeah, Glimmerman was right there as well too. So there was a lot of guys that were right there in that vicinity. We had,
Well, we all kind of knew. We all knew what was going to happen. I mean, even when it got to, I think 3 or 4, I was really never worried. I think it was 4. I was really never worried. It was just, when it's that close, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So then it becomes, okay, we can't do something really stupid here. So it worked out.
Man, I'm very happy.
Biotis isn't out for the year.
That's another thing to be happy about. We got the defensive LVEs most likely going to be back by the playoffs as well too.
Cowboy, yes.
We're getting some stuff in the secondary figured out. I'm liking where the trajectory. It's not downwards. It's not like last year where I felt like, we got the O-line that's not blocking well. You got the flags coming out. The receivers aren't getting open in the zone. Dak can't seem to push in zone, and now you got Dak going 24 for 24 against zone coverage in certain games. I like the trajectory that this team is headed, and I like it. It's at the right time as well too.
Yeah, I thought Phil did that.
What's that?
Yeah. Come on, Jeff, man, give me some credit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 35-23. Yeah, you know what? I usually look at the over/under. I just look at the whole picture. Vegas normally is on point. So they had the over/under right around 40. My final score ended up being 40, but that really wasn't, the end all. Yeah, you got to take it all in,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had us
gotta remember
blowing
to do
them
that.
out in the first half. Then, yeah. See, our thing is, I mean, other than the Minnesota game, and that got out of hand. I don't really know what the score was at halftime with the Minnesota game, but I just saw a little mailman go across the screen.
Yeah, you like that?
I did see that.
I gotta
Yeah, I
keep it
have it.
customized.
Everybody in the chat, I have my TV up here that I have. I put the webcam over. I paused the YouTube, and I have the YouTube on my TV. Yeah, there's a delay. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah,
Hold on, I'm trying to.
yeah. You had 40-17. So I looked at the weather. And,
I was 34-13, so I was kind of like I was like, oh, get me another touchdown and I'll be right there, and then no, and I was like, oh, and then and there was we were talking to a little trash there about 5 to 6 minutes,
the
and I
game
was like,
was ugly, like we said at halftime.
And I wasn't.
Dallas doesn't.
I just wanted a victory. Yeah.
Enjoy success. You know that. I mean, I mean,
nobody's gonna watch this game if it's not
like
close.
A movie. They have to keep people on the edge of their seat, and then they easily get the job done. Let's face it, they got 12 wins. They've got the job done 12 times. They lost 2 games against most likely playoff teams in overtime. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, but no,
Bay.
Man, it's overall special teams playing good. Maher hitting field goals. Again, that's a positive, a great pickup in the offseason, something that we've been stressing about for years and years. And so it's nice to have a guy that you feel confident about when he goes out there, that he can hit these field goals. I mean, he's got confidence right now, and that's what you want your kicker to have. You got a special return guy that could possibly break it at any moment, possibly break 2 things at 2 of them, punt return, kick returns, and stuff like that. So when you look all across the board, there are points to get excited about. But obviously, if you want to focus on the negative, it's very easy to get just drown yourself in all the negativity, because there can be some stuff there, and other fans will help you drown yourself if you really allow them to get into your head. So remember, man, we got 31 other teams that don't like us.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Hold it down. Yes.
Hey, Twiz, are you guys worried about your road record at all? Listen, we all know it's not easy to win on the road in the playoffs, but I think this is what I think, man. I think Dallas is the type of team who they may need to play on the road. I mean, they may need to play on the road. That's just like us versus them type of deal. They have the talent. I don't think anybody questions Dallas' talent. They just need to go out and do it. And if it's going to be in Tampa Bay, I don't care how they're playing right now.
Yeah, playoffs. Yeah, playoffs are different story.
That'll be nail bite, because you can say what you want. They got a lot of talent on that. I know they're banged up, but they got a lot of talent, especially on offense. So that'll be fun to watch. That'll be fun. But I'm going to enjoy this weekend.
Yep.
Tomorrow we get some games, right? We get some BCS games going on. And then Sunday, we got NFL. I'm off for a while from work, so I'm going to be getting some stuff done around the house. But, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the
Mark's
one time.
Got his live coming up, right?
Yep. But, yeah, so as we break down this game, again, smile, Cowboy Nations. We're 12-4.
Yeah.
Jessica points it out. We're not 4-12. Exactly. We are. Things are good right now. Things are good. Obviously, we wish we had our elite. Whatever, man. We got great backups that are really coming in and blossoming and allowing in the offseason some big decisions to be made. So I mean, there's a lot to go across the board there. I'm just happy with the victory. I'm sure a lot of Cowboy Nations are as well. Anything that you want to say to the group before we get
worried.
out?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. This is what I'm going to say to the group. I was holding my breath when Dak grabbed his knee.
Yeah.
Anybody else holding his breath? That was the one thing I was afraid of.
Because he was right on the knee. The knee itself.
Oh, my God.
Did it pop out?
And it was just like a tweak type of deal. Jerry Jones, said he was fine.
Loyal Cowboy, love it.
You play to win the game.
Yeah, Loyal Cowboy says, I'm going to kick back, relax, and troll our competition. So, yeah, man, everybody spends the holiday season.
Go check out Mark Holmes on his lives. Mark, what time's your live? At 8:50. What time's you normally go? Oh, no, he goes at 9, right? Yeah, that's right. Mark goes at 9. I'll be in bed. Nah, I won't.
Man, you better not be. Not on vacation time, man. Now you spend the night. I want you to go until 5 in the morning, man.
Hey, man, I need a partner, man. Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me?
Yeah,
but
coming with me. Oh yeah, we're gonna just we're gonna come on live
with Mark. For
the new year, right? No, we're not doing that. We need to have a couple days off.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't even know the next game. We don't even know when the next game is because the Washington game. When is it? Is it Saturday, Sunday? Are we doing the broadcast on Friday? Are we doing it on Saturday?
I'm hoping it's Saturday.
We may have to push something in between there. I don't know.
It's either, we're either going to have a show Friday or Saturday. But I don't think. And is there a Monday game this week? Yeah, there's a Monday game.
There's probably one
week,
more.
Right?
Yeah, I would imagine there's one more before the last week. And the last week there won't be.
Let me look. Yeah, we got Monday night Bills at Bengals. Oh, that's a good one. So, we'll probably, I don't know what's going on for the games tomorrow, on Sunday with Mark. Maybe we'll hop on, maybe not. I know who knows.
Yeah,
but we'll probably
at least on the Mondays and Thursdays.
And then we'll have a show on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that was the last Thursday night game, wasn't it? So, yeah, we won't be on with him.
That was the last Thursday game.
Yeah, but we finished it out. Wham! All right. Well, I know I'm excited about, again, as we talk about it, as we talk about this Cowboy team, we get excited about what they're doing. Of course, again, we can get negative on it, but there's so many things to be positive about. Again, thank you for joining me, Bryan, as we're going to kind of cut out. And I'll see everybody in the chat. I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate all the people that also subscribed yesterday. We hit over 140, I think, by the end of it, subscribers.
Phil was worried. He was worried that they just did that to get a shirt and then they were going to unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. Yeah, I was like, well, I mean, I wasn't worried. I was like, well, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him as well, too. So, again, I appreciate the new guys that are coming in as well. You're always welcome to come in and talk trash. You know us. We accept it, and we love it, man. It's part of the game, and, this is what makes Rivals great as well, too. So, I know that I'm excited about our future as well, and I will see everybody next year as we talk about the Cowboys and the next possible game, all right? So don't forget to always what, Bryan?
See you, Virus. What's that?
Don't forget to always what? Ring the bell, man. Ring the bell. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys later, and have a great New Year's, all right? Peace.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do? You're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me. You.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.